Okay, let's go across
and Orissa
to Ravi Shankar Prasad, who's worked extremely hard in this election in Uttar Pradesh. You were part of that famous rally along with Narendra Modi when he went to file his nomination. I guess that's when you could sense that this is a wave.
Well, Dr. Roy, I have been traveling in the entire country.
Yes.
And I have some experience of watching elections from 1977 when I was an activist in the JP movement. Obviously, Shekhar Gupta or you all have more experience than me in terms of observing elections. But I had always said I have rarely seen this kind of overpowering desire for change in the persona of Narendra Modi. And I have always taken the view that if 50% of what people are thinking gets translated into votes. Just to give you one example, Dr. Roy, last year in February I had gone to campaign in Nagaland elections. And I had flown to Tuli constituency, very closer to Myanmar border. After I addressed, when my workers and others came to see me off the helipad, and they said, Modi, Ravi sir, Modi. I asked what they are saying. They were talking of Mr. Modi. So much before in February itself, in remotest part of India, people were seeing Modi ji with hope. This election surely is a tectonic shift in the polity of India. After 1984, for the first time, a pre-election front is getting a very effective, stable majority, and God willing, what you are showing, the BJP on its own may get the majority.
It looks now as though in Uttar Pradesh you could get as much as 66 seats. You're already leading in 65.
Well, I have travelled in Varanasi, not only Varanasi, but parts of UP. Earlier, I have also worked as in charge of Western UP. I have been going there from my younger days when I was youth wing or in a vice president. I had always held the view that Bihar and UP are going to be crucial to our victory.
Right.
But yes, being a conservative by temperament, I had always pegged it maximum at 55. If BJP is 65 plus, salute to the people of UP. Dr. Roy, you have been telling about Bihar that Lalu might becomes very resurgent, but the indications are not that to effect. You have visited Bihar, and from day one I have been saying the results of Bihar are going to be outstanding, and that's what they are going to happen.
You were right and we were wrong on that. Yes. I think you're going to get 40 seats or more in Bihar. I just want to ask you, in terms of when did people make up their mind, you feel? Because you were traveling over the last year and a half. How much difference did the campaign make? How much was it already decided 3-4 months ago?
Well, I can tell you, this kind of result, Dr. Roy, you have been watching elections for so long, cannot be influenced by votes alone. It was a deep sense of agony, distress, dismay of the people of India against in the manner they were governed. And when they seek an alternative, they saw Narendra Modi-led BJP as the alternative. And they realized that if we want India to be, and that is a very positive message, Dr. Roy, if we want India to be governed well, we have to give an effective, very effective majority, a stable government. That is a big shift. Maybe coalition compulsions are things of the past.
I must correct myself. We were actually, not me, Dorab was right on Bihar. He said 25, 26 seats. I got 28. So 2 seats, sorry. Bad mistake. Dorab, come on. Pull your socks up. But anyway, had they already made up their minds 6 months ago that they wanted change and that the campaign was just maintaining that level?
Yes. Therefore, I deliberately gave you the example of February 2013 of far corner of India, Nagaland, and that too on the Myanmar border. Therefore, this kind of change, I traveled in Kerala where the BJP is very weak. And the way the people talk to me there, I have been traveling South India for the last so many years. Therefore, the word I have always been using, a profound yearning for change was there. And but yes, being a conservative, I was a little shaky. I knew NDA will cross 300. But I never expected that the BJP itself would cross 272 plus.
Right.
I think that extra push, Dr. Roy, that extra push
is
because of Narendra Modi.
Okay. Now I want to ask you about Bihar, which is very close to your heart. You are winning 28 out of 40 seats. Mr. Nitish Kumar is down to about 5 seats. Are you going to insist on a state assembly election immediately in Bihar?
Well, why only Bihar, Dr. Roy? In Uttarakhand, the same phenomenon. In Jharkhand, the same phenomenon. We are not going to destabilize any government. We are very clear about it. But I must tell you that Mr. Nitish Kumar's government is already on a in a very precarious condition. He does not have a majority. He's taking support from the Congress, a lot from independents. How it pans out, I don't know. But as far as we are concerned, we are not interested. And Dr. Roy, one thing I would like to clarify here on the national level, if I can say that. This kind of victory is certainly a victory where I would say a large number of young Muslims have voted for BJP. I saw that in Java, in Sambal, in Raipur, in Rampur, in parts of Bihar, in Rajasthan I saw that. Therefore, this whole polarization debate going on, I am very sure this magic number of BJP getting to 72 plus, the entire India has voted, the poor have voted, people from all across the caste have voted. That's how I see the message of this election.
Ravi Shankar Prasad, Sudhendra Kulkarni wants to ask you a question. It will be a much tougher question than mine, huh?
रविशंकर जी बधाई हो।
धन्यवाद।
लेकिन मैं आपसे एक पूछना चाहता हूं, आपने कहा कि इस चुनाव में बहुत सारे मुस्लिम मतदाताओं ने भी वोट दिया, तो अच्छी बात है, यंग मुस्लिम वोटर्स, अच्छी बात है। तो क्या हम अपेक्षा कर सकते हैं, देश देख सकता है कि अगली चुनाव में, वो असेंबली चुनाव हो या लोकसभा चुनाव हो, जब भी अब ना केवल विनेबिलिटी के आधार पर लेकिन रिप्रेजेंटेशन, फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन, डेमोक्रेटिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन के आधार पर बीजेपी मुस्लिम कैंडिडेट्स को बड़ी संख्या में आगे लाएगी?
देखिए, अभी आपने देखा होगा राजस्थान के चुनाव में हमने 4 को टिकट दिया, 2 जीते, कांग्रेस से कोई भी नहीं जीते। तो ऐसा नहीं है। आप देख रहे हैं गुजरात में बीजेपी के लगभग 250 काउंसलर्स हैं जो अल्पसंख्यक समाज से आते हैं।
नहीं, अच्छी बात है, लेकिन लोकसभा में तो केवल कितनी मुस्लिम कैंडिडेट्स थे पता नहीं, लेकिन 2। तो क्या आपको लगता है कि ये बदलना चाहिए?
देखिए, हम ये कोशिश करते हैं, आपने सही कहा, लेकिन हमेशा बीजेपी की मुस्लिम के प्रति सद्भाव का एकमात्र पैमाना उनको टिकट देना ही है। अगर नहीं दिए तो आप सद्भाव नहीं करते हैं। मैं आपके इस पूरे विश्लेषण से सहमत नहीं हूं। इस देश में 2 प्रकार, मैं चाहता हूं कि एनडीटीवी पर इस बहस को प्रोवोक करूं। इस देश में 2 प्रकार की बहस चली है। उनका वोट लो, टोकनिज्म करो, वाइस चांसलर बनाओ, एमपी बनाओ, काम कुछ नहीं करो। बुनकरों के लिए, रोजगार के लिए, शिक्षा के लिए, अल्पसंख्यक समाज के बच्चों की शिक्षा के लिए एक ये राजनीति चली है। शायद हमारा दृष्टिकोण दूसरा है, वो सार्थक है और वो प्रभावी है।
रवि, लेकिन if I can interrupt you, there is something called empowerment. You know, everything is not tokenism. If somebody becomes a member of parliament, gets elected, becomes a minister, it is not a tokenism, it is empowerment. You cannot say that because I am the majority, my followers or my people following me have elected me, I'll be kind to the rest of you. This is a parliamentary diverse democracy. India is the most diverse democracy in the whole world. Inclusion is not tokenism. Of course, inclusion can be reduced to tokenism, and there is no denying that the Congress party and left intelligentsia in India has reduced very often inclusion to tokenism. And so you might have an argument, but it's at the same time, that is no defense for the BJP to indulge in exclusion or to say that I've got the power, I'll be fair to you guys, because that's not the way democracy works. You need social cohesion in a country like India.
Shekhar Gupta ji, you're absolutely right. That was a reply I gave to the specific query of Mr. Kulkarni. But as far as BJP is concerned, will be all. It will be a government for all. Every segment, every community, every religion.
No, but will it be a government with all?
No, just a minute. And as far as empowerment is concerned, when the time came, we met Dr. APJ Kalam as the President of India. The highest constitutional post was given after Fakhruddin Ahmed.
If I may continue arguing with you, is that not tokenism?
That's not tokenism.
No, all right. Let me clarify. Now here you are asking a question, आपने सीट दिया कि नहीं दिया? हम ये कह रहे हैं, हम सबकी चिंता करेंगे और सबके लिए काम करेंगे और उनका सम्मान भी करेंगे. And yes, Shekhar ji, इस पर I am willing to have a long debate with you. Surely people should be given seat, people should be given post, But in my very considered view, it is more important to do something tangible for their development and growth. That's equally important.
Right, Zoya, your question.
No, Mr. Prashad, I just wanted to take further your point that BJP represents all. You know, all is an abstraction. Just as even Indian, very often, whenever you are asked these kinds of questions, we say we stand for all Indians. Surely you stand for all Indians, but all is an abstraction. All is composed of different regions, castes, classes, communities, and surely all of these categories, social categories, have a right to representation. So therefore, to say that we will represent all is not satisfactory, and we have to also understand the nature of democracy the world over. There's so much significance being given to diversity and voice for different groups. They have a right to represent their own concerns and their own interests. Now, I really don't see why at this moment it seems India is going to be an exception to this worldwide trend, which is giving greater and greater importance to representation of different kinds of interests and groups in different ways. So, and because I think it is really not just that the BJP, which is likely to have 272, and you're probably getting 330, the NDA, which is going to have only 1 or 2 Muslim MPs. But if we look at the entire parliament of 554, it is very likely that it will just have very few minority members. Now, in a country where minorities constitute 20%, and please don't forget that in UP, Muslims alone constitute 20% of its population. I mean, it's one of the world's largest concentrations of Muslims anywhere in the world, and you don't give a single ticket to them. Now, this is.
Could you answer that? Because it is. In all this victory and celebration, it is a weakness. You admit that it is a weakness in this victory?
First of all, Dr. Roy, while responding to your eminent panelist reply, let me tell you, when we say we will work for the entire country, we mean that. And our record shows that. Muslims have the highest growth rate in Gujarat in comparison to many quote-unquote secular states. Yes, we have to work harder. I agree with that. But under that garb, to minimize the import of our victory today, I don't think it will be fair. Let me complete.
No, we are not minimizing.
Nobody's minimizing. Everybody is congratulating you and saying it's wonderful. But in this moment of triumph, the challenges you have to look at and responsibilities.
Ravi, this is Siddharth here.
It's not wonderful.
Let me offer my congratulations first up, lest I be accused after asking my question that I'm trying to undermine the scale of a victory, which I'm not. Should we go by your rather reassuring words in response to what Sudhindra and Shekhar and Zoya have asked about Muslim representation, or should we go by the statement Amit Shah made during the campaign when he attacked the BJP before an audience of Hindu voters for giving too many tickets to Muslims? So which is the real BJP here?
First of all, let me tell you, Mr. Siddharth Varadarajan, that when I am talking of this scale of victory, the entire country, yes, we respect the diversity. That is, India is there. But this kind of victory would not have been possible, which your map is also showing, the entire graphic is showing, but for the great support by people of the entire country. And I differ there. I say the Muslims have also voted us. I say Christians in Northeast, we are doing remarkably well. In Nagaland, in Manipur, in Mizoram, Assam, we are sweeping. This would not have been possible but for minority support. We acknowledge that. I was asked a specific question in that aspect. I realized that. And let me tell you, Mr. Varadarajan, I completely respect your views to have a view about Mr. Modi and the BJP, but we are different. That's all I can tell you. And our record speaks for that.
So, Ravi Shankar Prasad, what worries you at this moment, in this moment of celebration for you? What are your challenges?
The first and foremost, Dr. Roy, is the state of economy.
Right.
When I was preparing the charge sheet against the UPA government as the convener, I delved deeply into records, and apart from my own knowledge, it is in a very critical state. The first thing would be to restore the people's confidence in the economy by ensuring good governance. That will be very important. The way India has been governed in the last so many days, therefore governance is the primary responsibility. Economic growth agenda is the primary responsibility. That's how we wish to go about it.
So only one. Do you include inclusiveness of the whole population as the second big challenge?
No, I am telling you, Dr. Roy, there are two ways of looking at things.
Right.
One, you speak a lot, and the second, you allow your work to speak for itself.
Right.
And once you allow your work to speak for itself, again I repeat, this kind of victory in Northeast, maybe in Karnataka, maybe in Rajasthan, the sweeping victory in Madhya Pradesh, it has good number of minority pockets also. Therefore, I can tell you, and therefore, I respect the right of the people to criticize Mr. Modi. There have been many, and there will be many. But Mr. Modi spoke beyond them to the people of India. And the people of India, the poor, the marginalized, the extremely backwards, the minorities, the younger people in particular, the minorities, responded to that call. Therefore, I can always, let me be very honest to you. I am an old party worker. This kind of victory, though I salute the party worker, would not have been possible by campaign simplicity. India is speaking. Indians have trusted Narendra Modi and the BJP.
Okay, fine. I've got to get a smile out of you at the end, because I just want to ask you, which particular ministerial post are you going to get?
Now you are embarrassing me, Dr. Roy. Really embarrassing me. That is the pure.
Our former INB minister.
Absolutely.
How can I dare embarrass a former? No more INB, something bigger?
No. It is the pure discretion of the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, whatever he decides, whatever the party decides. But let me conclude with a more mundane thing, Dr. Roy. Am I allowed to?
Mundane.
Yeah.
I think your mundane is generally pretty provocative, so go ahead. Yes.
No. Whenever Dr. Roy has tasted litti in Patna, you have been lucky for us. In 2010, we swept Bihar elections. And this time we are sweeping India. Therefore, litti with Dr. Roy is lucky for us.
So it's a litti victory. But Ravi, one of your successors in INB ministry that you held once has now said, I mean, देर आया दुरुस्त आया अकल तो आए, उसने बोला है कि INB ministry is an anachronism. It is not needed. Your party will be setting up a new cabinet. I'm not suggesting which ministry you ask for. You will figure that out. But do you also agree that INB ministry should now be an anachronism?
I have seen that Manish Tiwari's statement in the closing days of his ministry. Well, Shekharji, let me tell you one thing. If an INB minister only is the minister for Doordarshan and Akashvani and PIB, then he has a problem.
And DAVP?
No, and if there is an INB minister who becomes the minister for entertainment, for growth, a big industry of India, then it's a different ball game altogether. And I have great personal satisfaction. This entire FM revolution was my brainchild when I was the minister. This entire opening of corporate investment in the film sector, so many film cooperation agreements world over. Therefore, there is a big sector to work upon. So it depends upon ministers and ministers.
So will you now support taking this forward and maybe increasing foreign investment in news media and also allowing news on radio? What are your personal views?
Surely these are details to be worked out, but let me tell you, Shekhar Gupta, with my little experience, that entertainment industry is one of the most promising areas of growth in India. And I regret to say this government did not do anything.
I hope you're not including news there in entertainment.
It is entertainment. News is entertainment.
It only sounds like
I
fun.
only watch it for entertainment.
It only sounds like
Slanging
fun when you're
matches in the
winning.
evening.
Mr. Prasad, I would say, Mr. Shekhar Gupta, you are asking me to disclose a lot of sensitive things. And I think that is the government to decide.
Mr. Prasad, anything that normally the government touches goes to pot. Information technology the government hasn't touched. So why are you trying to touch entertainment? I mean, industry is doing fine.
No.
You wanted to close down?
Mr. Dorab Supariwala, I hope you have asked me this question. You are
Yes,
wrong
I have.
there. I am not saying to control the entertainment. I am saying the government must create the enabling atmosphere by policy initiative for entertainment sector to grow.
Okay, one other, we talked about two challenges. One is the economy, one is inclusiveness. The third challenge is a little more difficult one for you to answer, I guess, is how in the immediate next few days handling the old guard, the senior members of your party who have felt slightly left out. Is there is a bit of tension. You may be smiling, but is that a nervous laughter?
And some middle-level members also fairly, not so old, but senior members also a bit upset.
Dr. Roy, I thought I was to come to your channel in the late evening also. Some questions could be reserved for that program. But since you have asked me this question, let me tell you. BJP has the inner dynamics of these zones. These problems are not there. The party will be one and will remain one.
Right, and we'll have a more detailed answer this evening when you come. So we look forward to that.
Thanks a lot.
Ministerial post by ministerial post and who gets which this evening. We look forward to that.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And congratulations again.